Hey guys, for today's video, I've been kind of in a funk lately and I haven't really known what to draw. All I knew is that I wanted to practice blending with my Ohuhu markers and practicing with color pencil techniques on top of it. Like, I've really been enjoying playing with my markers and colored pencils together. So I just wanted to keep practicing, but I didn't really know what to draw. And usually when I don't know what to draw, I will default to teddy bears. I'll add some of the pictures of my favorite ones I've made throughout the years, but you can't go wrong. They're adorable. They make me happy to look at. They're really simple. You can't really mess them up. If you see a wonky looking teddy bear, it just adds character, right? Like, I don't think I've ever seen a teddy bear that I can't stand. But another thing that I also like to do when I'm in these funks is check out some inspiration on Pinterest. The only bad thing of that is, one of my problems though with Pinterest is I generally tend to get into like this thing where I'll be looking at reference photos and saving like hundreds of them, but I'm not actually using them. And someone that I was listening to lately, I cannot remember who, it might have been Loish, but when you have the inspiration, just do it. Like, if you see something cute that you want to try your hand at drawing, do it. Like, don't save something and then wait for the time to draw it because you might not be in the mood. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically how you're feeling right that moment, and that's when you want to act on that specific reference photo and how it's making you feel in that moment. For the first two bears, I kind of stuck a little close to the reference photos, but for this third bear, I saw a bear, and I will show you the reference photo. I cannot find the original person that made it, but I'll show you the reference photo. I did not stick close to the reference photo, and that's probably why it ended up not being my favorite, but I'm glad I did it. I did learn a lot, and that's one of my things that I'm really pushing this year is, even if I don't love something that I've made, I learned something from it, and as long as I'm getting a little bit better with every drawing, I'm cool with that. For this first bear, the technique that I was trying to go in with is I was trying to add the shadows first, like the darkest of the darks, and then I went on top with the base color, and then I went on top with a little bit more adventurous colors. I was intending to make him just stay looking kind of like antique vibes and like he'd been old and around for years, but the more that I started adding color, like purples, I wanted to add blues and greens and pinks, and I kind of just went a little bit rainbowy, and I'm not upset about it. Like, I don't think you can go wrong. I think adding rainbow to anything makes it that much better. I love it. One of the main things that I was focusing on when I was doing these was just continually adding enough of a shadow and blending to where it looked more three-dimensional. I just didn't want it to look flat, and I wanted to practice with my blending on making it look like it was sticking out from the paper. Like, I wanted to push the shadows, I wanted to push the roundness and the plushness, if that makes any sense at all. With the buttons, I started going like in an opalescence kind of thing. It started out as just a simple gradient, but then I kind of wanted them to look like this little opal button that I had when I was a kid that I was like obsessed with. I don't know what it was. It was just a random button that I was in love with. I don't even think it belonged to any of my clothes. I think I just found it. But once I started getting into this, that's all I could think about was that little opal button. Another thing that I've been crazy about adding is blush on everything. Just like little anime blush that doesn't even make sense, but it just adds that extra little cuteness. I love the fact that I added this little patch on here, because that's another thing that makes stuffed animals look like really well loved, is these little cute little patches. Here you can see where I'm going in and I'm starting to add that purple and blue, and I just added the purple on the one side, blue on the other, and just kept blending it until it kind of like, I did it while it was really wet, so it didn't really have a chance to like leave any hard edges. It just kind of blended really nicely together, and I wasn't sure it would do that, to be honest. And then I started coming on top with the green and the pinks and like the oranges, just to really push that color saturation. Another thing that when I get done with my sketches that I've been noticing is I kind of look back at them and I kind of wish that I had added more texture and more color So I'm trying to keep that in mind with all my future drawings, is remembering that just when I think I might have pushed it too far, I probably didn't push it far enough. I could go a little bit more bolder and a little bit more adventurous, and that would be a good time. I sped up a lot more of this bears after this, because I ended up going over the same thing like multiple times. And it was just a lot of wet on wet blending. Like I would put a little bit of marker down, put the shadow down, and I was just basically trying to find different ways to blend that I liked. But for the most part, it was just a lot of layering and coming back on top with the same colors over and over and over again until it looked kind of how I wanted it to look. I haven't really found a limit of what the paper can take. This is Ohuhu mixed media paper, by the way. I know they've come out with a new pad, and I cannot wait to try that pad. The one where it's like supposedly it doesn't bleed over onto the other side, where you can use both sides. That's the only thing I don't like about this pad, or any marker sketches period, is you use one side and then the other side just you kind of like have to abandon it. I do really enjoy how I did the dress on this girl, but the only thing I don't like is the shape. Like I could not figure out for the life of me what I wanted to do with the shape of it. And then the flowers on the outside, the flowers on her, I love the little flowers on the outside. I wish I hadn't added them, but what can you do? After you draw with the marker, it's pretty much there. When I was drawing these, I was kind of thinking of like 90s vibe, like all those embroidered flowers that were like on all of our clothings everywhere, stuff like that. That was really what was in my head when I was drawing these out, and I loved the hot pink and orange look together. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I just got a new niece, and that's one of the things that makes me really happy, is trying to think about stuff that she would like when she gets a little older. So far I've only had nephews, and they're more into like dinosaurs and sharks and, boy stuff. But the girl stuff, I haven't really had anybody to enjoy that with, so it'll be cool. I'm excited. She's so cute. And for this one, even though I had some problems with deciding what I was going to do next, I actually really like how well the the colored pencil was sitting on top of the marker. I love these eyes. I love the little eyelashes that I added. I usually add those onto the teddy bears when I'm crocheting them, and I really like that. It just adds a little extra girliness and cuteness that wouldn't ordinarily be there. But like I said, I am really enjoying the colored pencils on top of the markers. I think that the problem that I have when I'm just using colored pencils is I seem to have a fight to try to get to cover up the white of the paper. And when you're using markers as a base, you don't really have to fight with that. And you can push the colored pencils as much or as little as you want to. The main thing that I was trying to go for with this bear towards the end was just making her dress look kind of like satiny, shiny look. And I think I kind of got that with the white colored pencil. And then when I came up on top of the marker on the bottom and the top of the skirt, I was just trying to make it look poofy, like a poofy little skirt. And I think the marker, that little oomph of color right there, really helped that out. This teddy bear is my favorite. It started out as this green little bear that I found on Pinterest. I'll add a picture of it. And at first I was sticking pretty close to the reference photo, but then I realized I really didn't want it to look like I'm ripping off this lady's work. And so I tried to make it more into like a magical night scene. And that once I started doing that, it was a lot of fun. I was trying to make it look like a little painting or like a little world on his belly, like kind of like Care Bears. Another thing from the 90s. It was a good time back then. Like there was a lot of creativity happening, and a lot of the stuff that makes me happy is stuff that I remember from that time. So that was kind of like a weird thing now that I think about it. Like all the cute stuff had stuff on the belly, like trolls with the jewels, and then like the Care Bears with all the cute stuff on the belly. And I think even My Little Pony had like little things on, no, that was on their sides or on their haunches. But anyway, the point remains is if I'm thinking of something adorable, it was generally from that that time frame. The more that I worked on this bear, the more he started evolving into something different and fun than what I originally had intended for him. And like the star, I really wanted to make sure that there was a glow coming from the light of the star. But that wasn't in the reference photo at all. I don't know where that came from. It just ended up being really cute. I did kind of stick with the same proportions as that bear. For some reason, like when I draw teddy bears, I like to draw the feet like really big and chunky, and I like my bears really chubby. But this bear was really cute and almost like the way that its proportions were almost reminded me of like really old vintage bears. And so I decided to give him the same kind of like tiny little feet. I kind of messed up right where his little leg meets his belly. I kind of wish that I hadn't messed that up, but I'm pretty happy with how all together he turned out. I did practice with, this is a clear alcohol marker. It acts more like a magic eraser than blending. Like everybody said it was for blending, and I used to use clear alcohol markers to blend colored pencils, but it doesn't really work that well. If you come in right when the paint or when the marker is still kind of wet, the more it's going to lift. And if you use like the chisel tip, it'll take like a hard edge, and then if you use the brush tip, it'll make it more softer of a lift. And anyway, I had fun with that. This whole sketch page was basically just practicing marker techniques that I've learned and how to incorporate them into my work, you know. And at first I was going in with like a Paint Charlie kind of vibe. Like I wanted it to be a lot of wet blending, a lot of soft, gentle gradients. But the more that I was drawing with the colored pencils, the more I was like, you know what, I really want to come in and make it look like that belly is stitched on, like someone sewed it on. So I was trying to like do like a lot of vertical texture, and I really enjoyed how that turned out. I had a lot of fun in general with all of these. You really can't go wrong with teddy bears. At least I can't. I love them. I'm really looking forward to drawing some portraits coming up. It's been a while. I've been drawing a lot of animals and stuffed animals, and I'm ready to draw some people. I love portraits. I was thinking about doing the 100 Heads challenge. I want to incorporate a lot of my favorite characters in there, though. So, and I got a new sketchbook. I don't need any more sketchbooks, but I got one anyway. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to make. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Bye!